Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's Monday, and after a little bit of a hiatus, we are back here with Movie Monday. Today we're talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. That's right everybody, Movie Monday here on Pop Culture Philosophers. We're going to be talking about Han Solo, that's right, that Solo film. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is...
Brooks.
This is...
John, Hammertime, Holshoe.
Filling in for Jelani Bullard. Couldn't make it with us today, but John, thank you for joining us on the show. Movie Monday, we are back, and we're going to go on all summer long. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about that Solo movie, a Star Wars story. First of all, I'm going to break it down. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it a whole lot more. Okay, when this movie was first announced, I was like, okay, that's cool. That's decent. Let's recast. You know, when they first announced that Disney was going to be doing some more saga films, right? I said, why not just recast all of them and just have Luke, Leia, and Han? And who needs Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill? Like, the stories, the characters live beyond just those actors, I would say. So, I didn't care that they were going to do this Han Solo film. And then when you hear all the stuff and all the controversy about the directors getting fired and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, wow, it seems like this whole production is shaky, and then the casting news is pretty decent. Then I found out that the dude, Alden Ehrenreich, is the dude from...
Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar. And I'm like, oh, wow, of course. Like he's pretty cool. I'm starting to get into it, maybe. But I just was a little hesitant. But, man, I watched it. I loved it. I loved this movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great sci-fi western, like one of the most true westerns out of all the Star Wars films. I like how it showed the darker, seedier side of the galaxy, what it's like for some of these species and races to live under this oppressive imperial regime. I like that stuff. I thought Ehrenreich did an amazing job as Han Solo. Donald Glover was amazing. Emilia Clarke was amazing. Woody Harrelson. This was a fantastic cast. The way I would say it straight up, and this is what I tweeted out right after watching the movie, it's a very fun heist movie with great performances all the way around. But I want to know what these guys think about it. Hammertime, Holshoe. Why don't you tell me what you thought about Solo?
Well, that was all right. No, I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. You know, visually it's a treat. Great cast. I wasn't 100% behind the cast of who they selected for Han Solo initially. Like you said, and once I realized he was the guy from Hail Caesar, I'm like, oh,
you're the one saying twerp.
Yeah, it went up a little bit. I'm like, oh, that guy. Okay, I like him.
Hail Caesar is a really underappreciated movie,
yes,
we think here at PCP.
And I think he does a good job. I think the key here is he did a good job of making the characters his own without trying to be Harrison Ford. I think he did a great job. Would he be my first choice? Well, after seeing the film, he is. But I don't know who. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. If you went out and tried to find somebody that looked like Harrison that had no acting chops, I don't know. I don't think it would have worked. I think he works for the role, and I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to enjoy it. And again, it feels like a Star Wars film. Visually, it's great. You got the ships. You got the Imperial Army. You got everything you want in a Star Wars film. No disappointment here.
Including great music, and great music too.
Oh, yeah.
And the moment, and I'm just going to warn you guys, we will be spoiling this movie, so if you care about that kind of stuff, we'll let you know when we're about to, well, no, just stop watching. Anyway, but like the part where he finally gets a hold of the Millennium Falcon, he starts flying it finally, and that old music comes up. That Falcon flight music from the original Star Wars movies by John Williams. I love it. So you liked the movie. And you were surprised.
Yeah.
You know, the closer we got to the release, the more excited that I became. Because first of all, Ron Howard, he knows how to make some good movies. Apollo 13 to me is an amazing
Splash
movie.
Is the greatest film ever made.
That's the movie you pick. No, but Apollo 13, Cocoon is better than Splash.
He's a great director.
Arrested Development alone, right? Speaking of Arrested Development alone, it is an illusion, Michael. That is Brooks' middle name. Brooks, tell me what you thought about Solo, a Star Wars story.
I hated it.
Oh, whatever.
I'm kidding. It's like, how many
you always try to fool the viewers.
How many times can I do the fake out?
They're not fooled. They've talked to me. They're not fooled.
Damn. Well, yeah, I liked it a lot. I think it had everything that you would expect from a movie about Han Solo. You know, it has his past of him, you know, trying to work his way up in from the slums. It has him escaping. It has him, you know, discovering, you know, other criminals that he can ally himself with. It shows him being a badass pilot.
Yeah.
It shows him kind of, you know, doing the spaghetti western type showdown stuff.
Yeah.
It shows him, you know, working, you know, it shows his friendship with Chewbacca.
Yes.
How they meet.
One of the best parts of the movie, man.
Yeah.
That friendship, and it feels so real and organic, and it works, man.
And it's just like they just kind of get stuck together, and they end up just kind of working together, and you know where it goes from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like we kind of like this movie. Let's get a little bit further into it. First of all, Alden Ehrenreich, right? A lot of people don't even know who this cat is. We know him from Hail Caesar. That's literally the only movie I've seen him in.
I've never seen it.
Okay. But Hail Caesar is a great movie. It's by the Coen brothers.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, right.
I never did
George
see it.
Clooney, Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
But he plays this like doofy cowboy actor that they're trying to bring up into like a more sophisticated type film. And he has this scene with Ralph Fiennes, right? Or however you say his name.
Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes, however you want to say his name. I like saying it weird and spectacular. But he's got this scene where he's like, if only 'twere so. Why are you saying twir? You're the one saying twir. You gotta watch it. It's a great movie. So that's literally the only thing I've seen him in, and I loved him in that role. So I was kind of excited. And the more trailers, like the first trailer didn't really sell me on it. But the next few trailers, man, they really, really did. I liked his delivery. I liked his ownership of this role. He said he talked to Harrison. What should I do? Actually, not Harrison. He talked to Ron Howard, because Ron Howard came in to basically reshoot about like a few bits of this movie. They say that Ron Howard did over 70% of this movie. I credit all the credit to him, because Ron Howard did an amazing job. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to make a good movie. And now he's made a very good Star Wars movie, at least in my opinion. So he was told by Howard, Ehrenreich was, don't try to do an impression of Harrison Ford.
Can we call him Richie Cunningham for the rest of the
No,
video?
That's a little disrespectful.
John, you're not charring my tree here.
But so, he was told, don't give me an impression of Harrison Ford. Own this role your own way. I think he did it. I think he did it exceptionally well. What do you think about Ehrenreich in the role?
I think a good job. Like I said, he didn't try to just sound like Harrison Ford or mimic his movements. He didn't try to be Harrison Ford. He tried to be, I don't know, I guess his version of what he thought was a space cowboy kind of, an outlaw. And I enjoyed it, man. I think if he would have tried, and again, part of me is like, oh, he's not going to be like Harrison Ford, and that was one of the reasons I was upset. I was like, he's not going to try to act like him or talk like him, because there's some actors, if you've seen some of the people are pushing, like online, like, oh, pick this guy. He sounds like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, Idris Elba, I think, should have played Han Solo.
So
he should play everybody.
So
I'm sorry if you. The answer to who should play who, to me, Idris Elba, Sticky Fingers. That's it. Go on. I'm sorry.
He does a good job. I think he does his own thing. I think he does a good job. I hope we see him show in other role.
I love this. I want to see so much more.
Yeah, we need a Lando movie. That's what I would like.
Oh man, they got a Fett movie coming out. They just announced it by James Mangold. Did Logan, the Wolverine, right? 3:10 to Yuma. What's the other big one that we like? Oh, there's another one.
I don't recall.
And I'm blanking right now.
Oh, he did Splash.
He did Splash, the remake. The remake prequel. The prequel of a remake. What? Anyway, what'd you think about Alden Ehrenreich in the film as Solo?
I liked him. I thought he did a good job with it. And, the fact that he doesn't act exactly like the Han Solo we know, I mean, to me, that's just like, well, obviously he wouldn't act that way because he hasn't become that character yet.
Oh, good point.
This is young Han Solo. He's just starting to figure out who he is. And
this movie goes really far. It's truly an origin story.
Yeah.
This explains everything. It explains why the dice are so significant. It explains where he gets his gun. It explains his time in the Imperial Army.
Yeah.
It explains his relationship with Chewbacca, where that starts, how he gets the Millennium Falcon. How he gets his surname of Solo, and I love it. I think it all ties together with the themes and the plots and what they're trying to do with the movie. I love it. The movie's very dark. It's dour. It's dank. You were talking about it's visually stunning, but not as visually stunning.
Very gritty look to it.
Most Star Wars movies are like spectacle and beautiful, luscious, like painted backdrops and shit like that, like Last Jedi, even stuff like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Drones. Even that stuff looked really pretty. This is like dark and dour, and parts of it, especially towards the beginning, it felt to me like Saving Private Ryan a little bit more than a Star Wars film. And that's something Rogue One tried to do, and something I really applaud Rogue One for is is focusing more on the wars aspect over the star. And I love it. It's truly a Western. You got, like I said, we got train robbery, we got mine shafts, it's basically, you could think of the wars that he's fighting, like he's a deserter from the Civil War. You can think of it in terms of like that, and it works. But he's got an amazing supporting cast around him. Let's start off with Donald Glover, because of course we want to talk about Donald Glover. His Lando Calrissian was the #1 reason why I had to watch this movie the moment that it came out, and I'm so glad I did. He took the role and once again didn't do an impression of Billy D. Williams, but really took that charm, that charisma.
You could tell he had
that swag.
He knew the Lando character.
Yes. It worked so well. Every outfit he wore, I wish I could rock that outfit. I wish I could rock a cape like that, because I would have a room full of capes as well. Brooks, tell me what you thought about Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. Some people know him as Lando Calrissian.
I know him as Troy Barnes.
Troy Barnes. You don't need it.
Yeah, I forgot to do that. I forgot to do the other hand thing. I'm ashamed.
Brooks and Robbie in the morning.
Nights.
Right.
But yeah, obviously, I knew I was gonna love Donald Glover's Lando, and I was not disappointed. I think he did really good. He got the charm down. You know, he was the scoundrel that we all know Lando to be.
I love it when he just abandons them.
Yeah.
When he's like, over there we got 30 hired guns.
It's like, and I hope I never see you again.
Yeah, right.
I hate you.
I hate you.
I know.
That's why you never let another man fly a ship. Right? He's great.
Yeah.
I love his relationship with his droid too.
Yeah.
That's really touching, and it was
like
a great way.
How the droid thinks that he's in love with her, but she doesn't feel the same about him.
Yeah, and there's that, and also that she's a freedom-fighting droid. Because the treatment of droids in Star Wars, that's never really been touched on.
There's always something I always thought would be interesting is if they did like a history of how the droid race came to be.
Yeah.
Like, what was the first droid? Like, was it created? Was it like an actual life form?
Let's get together, think about it, we'll pitch it. We'll pitch it to Disney and Lucasfilm.
Oh, yeah.
I think we could do it.
Droids, the movie.
Speaking of droids, John, what do you think about Lando in the movie?
I like him, man. He does a good job. I really think Billy D. Williams is this like, he in real life, I think he's just a suave, cool guy.
Yeah, right.
And who else embodies that right now at that age other than Glover? I mean, seriously.
Only Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, well, he's just such a cool cat. I mean, he's a cool guy. He's a smooth guy. He's a great actor. He's a great musician.
Yeah.
And he's popular. Everybody loves him. And so it just makes sense. He'd be a good Lando. And I guess this is one of the times where you hear about actors petitioning for a role. Oh, so-and-so wants to be so-and-so. And it never pans out. This is one of the times where he actually wanted to be. He's like, hey, if they do this, I want to be Lando.
Yeah.
He became Lando, and it works well. And that's why I'm hoping that they do a standalone film with him. And I also wish there was more of him in the film, because there's more of him in the film than I expected, but not enough was
absolutely.
I wanted more Lando.
Not enough Donald Glover could be one of the critiques I would have of this movie.
Yeah,
not enough Lando.
Yeah.
But maybe they're setting it up for another film.
Oh, man,
Lando
that would be
film.
something.
The time he had was, I was satisfied.
It was great. It was great. Emilia Clarke is in this movie of Game of Thrones fame. She played Kira, the once love of Han Solo's life. They get separated when Han escapes that slave planet.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was her until he met her again later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she comes back. She's working for Paul Bettany's character, whatever his character's name is. I can't remember it right now.
Vision.
It was Vision. Yeah, Vision. Right. Anyway, lots of coolness there. I thought it was a cool love story. I thought it worked. I thought the chemistry worked there. I thought it was really cool. Not too forced, not too melodramatic. It wasn't Padme or Anakin at all.
You're so beautiful.
Right? But I really did like it. What do you think about her in the role and her character?
I think she did a great job. I don't think I've seen anything else. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I didn't see Terminator Genesis. So I don't think I've seen her in anything before. I think she did a good job. I like the chemistry between them. And it works. I mean, it wasn't like over the top. It didn't feel forced. And then, there was that flirtation when they see each other again.
Yeah. And then plus the whole idea that you're thinking, who is the real Kira throughout all of this movie?
Yeah, she's she's got a lot of secrets.
Yeah. And you don't know, is she still the poor person that's in slavery, but now she's
Yeah,
rising above by the end of this movie.
She's like the right-hand man to this crime boss.
Yeah, she's not just
And
like
then there's
a
this
bot
other-
slave or nothing like that.
And
She's
then there's this other
yeah.
scene where, like, you know, she like takes out all these guys in this room, and it mentions,
She's playing Han this whole movie, man.
It mentions that she knows something called Karakasai, which is like, it's like a Star Wars universe. It's some kind of martial art from the Star Wars universe. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've heard about it.
Oh, martial art from
Yeah,
Star Wars.
there's like a ton of little references in
yeah.
this movie.
Oh, there's
too.
so many. Like, you finally see Chewbacca playing that game
Yeah.
with Beckett.
Can't knock him
Tobias
off.
Beckett.
It's a
Let's talk about
hologram.
him
It's a
real quick.
hologram.
You like Clark in the role.
Yeah.
So real quick, okay. Tobias Beckett, played by Woody Harrelson. Seriously, the best mentor douchebag character since Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy, Games of the Galaxy. No, I
Galaxy
love
Wars.
Woody Harrelson in this movie so much. He really helped cement the idea of the Western in here. I loved his character. I loved his crew. John Favreau is one of them. Val was played by...
For the
yeah.
limited amount of time.
Yeah, but here's the thing is,
spend
like,
with them.
when we lose them, like, it hurt me, even though we had them only for a short amount of time. I loved Beckett. I love how he represented a mentor to Han Solo, and he taught him the most important lesson of all, and that is don't trust anybody. And Han Solo even... He did learn that lesson because he even, like, planned for his mentor to turn on him. It's straight up just a great heist movie, in my opinion. What do you think about Woody Harrelson in this movie? I thought he just shined so bright.
I think he does a great job. He's Woody Harrelson. I've never been disappointed with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
I think he's a great actor. He's been in a lot of great stuff. He shows up in way more stuff than I expect. You know, for being Woody Boyd is what I.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm just saying he's got big roles, small roles, whatever he does, he makes it his own, and he's great. He really does. I couldn't think of anybody else cast better than him as being the leader and being this great but yet terrible guy, and it's awesome.
When he first meets him and he's like, "Look, dude, I'm going to tell the Imperials what you're doing unless you like let me desert and go off with you." And he's like, "Look, let me tell you something, Lieutenant. This man's a deserter and he's a liar." It's so funny. It's got funny bits, but they don't try too hard to be too funny in this movie.
Yeah, there's plenty of funny parts, but it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel. I don't know if I was really expecting, and we're kind of jumping ahead here, but I expected, or behind, wherever you want. I expected there'd be like Fantastic Four. There was that jump, and you could feel that directors changed.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel
it
that.
was seamless, man.
Yeah, it was seamless. If they changed over to
Ron Howard.
I mean, I couldn't tell what was done by who and done by what.
It was seamless.
Yeah, it was seamless.
The tone was flawless.
Yeah,
the
tone is
consistent.
great. Yeah, there's comedy where it needs to be comedy. There's serious where it needs to be serious. It doesn't feel, nothing feels forced. Yeah, overall, the structure of the film and the consistency is amazing.
Yeah, what do you think about old Tobias Beckett in this movie? Which in August, we're getting a Beckett one-shot, I believe, to explain some of his backstory.
beans.
A
Like
comic
a
book.
comic?
Yeah, a comic book, yeah. Because I am so intrigued by this character.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting character. I mean, he's kind of like the proto Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like he was the original scoundrel.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy who's pulling the schemes and putting the crews together, and moving the merchandise. But yeah, I thought, and Harrelson, there's not very many things I've seen him in that I didn't like him in, really. I think he's very good. I think he's just a good actor.
The good thing about him in this movie and the character in general is that he dies at the end because Han shoots first, which is probably
Yeah, it's like he's in the
best
middle
part of
he's
this
in
movie.
mid-sentence, and then all of a sudden,
and it was shocking. It was like, whoa, what?
I was I was expecting to see something behind him. I was like, who's shooting at him?
Yeah, right. You're like somebody like that. But no, I thought he did such a great role. But like, even as he's dying, you realize that like he was doing what it took to survive. And I love that there's not like this big epic quest in this movie. Like he wants to get a ship so he can go back and find his love. But that's taken care of by the end of the first act. Pretty much at the beginning of the second act.
Well,
like
they didn't need the
she's
ship,
back.
apparently.
Didn't need the ship. And so there's not this big quest to like save the galaxy or anything like that. Even though he does help the little guy out by the end, which is totally Han Solo because he is this scoundrel. He's a smuggler. He's a morally ambiguous, just scruffy looking nerf herder, right? And like I feel like Alden Ehrenreich filled that more than Harrison Ford had a chance to, because Harrison Ford was always being dragged into things against his will and being forced to play the hero even though he really wanted to, and this character really felt like he jumped in like in a Wolverine type style, just jumped in head first without thinking. I love this movie so much. Let's talk real quick, though. Paul Bettany as the villain, head of the Crimson Dawn, or working for the Crimson Dawn, their major leader, Darth Maul. Darth Maul, we need more Solo films or more films that are going to pick up these threads with Solo and Lando, maybe in the Boba Fett movie, because I want to see more of Darth Maul, played by Ray Park and the guy who voiced him in Rebels and Clone Wars. I'm a huge Darth Maul fan. When he showed up, I lost my mind. I thought that was better than Vader at the end of Rogue One.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, what? Because I'm saying it's like, what is that, Palpatine? Like, what? Who is it? It's Darth Maul, man. He's got the robot legs. Like, seriously. But seriously, Paul Bettany, a great performance. A little bit of a mustache-twirling villain, but not for world domination. He's just a mafia crime boss.
I like this opening scene is like him just murdering this guy.
Yes.
And then he's like, back to the party.
Back to the party, yeah. And I thought he did a great job in this role. You usually see him in very, like, cold roles, like Vision and the super smart guys and all that stuff. It was nice to see him kind of be a little scene-chewing villain in this movie. You like Bettany?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? You like Bettany in this movie?
I think he did a good job, man.
All right. Last thing we got to talk about is dun, 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 dun. Chewbacca! Chewbacca's spot on. He's perfect. He tugs at your heart. You finally, when Han Solo at one point in the Star Wars, the original trilogy, said, like, I once saw this guy take the arms off of something, you know, whatever. Yeah, you see it. You see it in this movie. I love it. I love Chewbacca in this movie. You guys, what do you think? Who wants to talk?
He's Chewbacca.
What about you?
Well said. I can't.
Chewie!
Yeah, it's everything you heard about Chewie and then some.
Yeah.
I was surprised how they actually meet, though, because he seems pretty terrifying when you first meet him.
Yeah, I leaned over when they said the beast. I was like, this is going to be Chewbacca.
Yeah, if those bodies down there are because of him.
Yes!
Jesus, man.
I love that bit, too, where he finds the other Wookiees, and he goes and saves them, but he comes back to help
Yeah,
out.
comes back to help out.
God, I loved it. The Kessel runs in this movie, I thought it worked so amazingly well. It made sense. Explained the parsec thing. I love how much of an arrogant braggart this Han Solo is, because that's what Han Solo is. I love the Kessel Run. I love the action. I love the special effects. It looks amazing. It flows so well. I absolutely am in love with this movie, man. What do you think about the special effects, the look, the flow?
Visually, yeah, I think it's stunning. I really do
you
like
have a problem with the... go ahead. Do you have a problem with the Millennium Falcon? A lot of people had a problem with the Millennium Falcon because it looked different. Yeah. It looked sleeker and cleaner. But the whole point is that Han wrecks the ship in this thing, man. What do you think about that and whatever else?
I did like the explanation of the pod and everything, because I thought initially... I didn't know the pod was part of it back in the day, like you explained.
Yeah, and it was going to be
But I thought it was just going to be an extra piece so they could sell more toys. Like, look, there's another version of the ship. We can sell it to the people who buy Star Wars stuff. Which is a great marketing. Well, why not, man? People love Star Wars. I love Star Wars toys, and I'm not a big collector, but I still like Star Wars stuff. Visually, it's amazing. The train probably steals the show. The whole train.
That thing's so cool.
That thing. And they're on it, and you go back and watch that, and just that's visually really amazing. And even the initial trailer before they changed director stuff, that was in the original. That must have been part of the original plot. Yeah. The train thing, it looks great. It's. You know, you can tell there's a big budget there. It's a Star Wars film, so expect a big budget. I don't know how much was CG and how much was practical, but it works. And I'm thinking there's still a lot of practical. That's what I think helps the new movies versus the prequels. I think they went more practical than just CG. But visually, it's a treat, man. It's Star Wars.
What do you think about the flow of the movie and the visuals of it? How it looks?
It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very Star Wars movie.
Does it not feel darker than the typical Star Wars movie?
It feels dark. That and Rogue One, it feels like both of these side stories are darker because you're seeing more of the real
war side, the real life side.
Yeah, and the poverty and what war does to people and how these people live.
Well, it's less the mystical aspects, you know, with the Force and the Jedi and all that, and more like, you know, the regular people who live in the galaxy don't know anything about the Force, or who, like, you know, just believe the Force to be like a legend.
They didn't even mention the Force in this movie, do they?
They don't mention it at all. I don't remember.
I think the only Force,
and
we see Darth Vader, and I think that's the only lightsaber we see in the whole movie.
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
That's what I said.
Vader?
Oh man, I meant Darth Maul. I've never even seen these movies, guys.
There's one interesting thing about, you know, regarding the Millennium Falcon in this movie. You know, when the droid becomes a part of the Falcon.
And now they always refer to it as a she.
Yeah, that reminds me of a scene from Empire where Han has C-3PO talk to the Falcon while he's, you know, doing something, and C-3PO says, "Your ship has the most peculiar dialect."
Yeah, that's so funny. And they always refer to the ship as a she, and we used to just think that was a thing because dudes can talk all their gods.
Ships are always female.
But no, it makes sense. She's a part of that ship. and now she's always a part of that ship. Man, I think this movie's always going to be a part of me because I want to buy it, I want to watch it, I want to keep watching this movie. I love it. I love the performances. Like I said, a great heist film, very fun, with brilliant performances. But now we're getting to the rankings. Here at Pop Culture Philosophers, we do ya digs, and there is a 5 possible ya digs, 5 being the best score, 0 being the worst. We don't do negatives here, no matter what Jelani wants to do. John, Hammer Time you are. What do you rank out of 5 possible ya digs, Han Solo?
3.5 digs.
3.5
If I can do a half, is that allowed?
Yes, halves are allowed.
3.5 digs.
Which basically makes it a 10-point scale, but who cares, right? Who's counting? 3.5, that's respectable. Yeah. It's a good movie. Why 3.5?
Well, visually it's good, cast is good. It's not a perfect film, but I can't really poke holes at it. There's a lot of films I've walked out just disappointed, and this was not one of those films. I went in, had fun, left, I really enjoyed myself. And best Star Wars movie, I'm doing it from a 0 to 5 Star Wars films. So, I in that ranking, it's not the worst Star Wars film, but it's not the best. And it's not mediocre. It rose above. I think had a lot going against it. Yeah. And it came out to be a really good film. Absolutely. 3.5 you digs. That's very respectable. What about you, Brooks? What do you think?
Well, initially, when I first came out there, I thought 3.5. But the more I thought about it, I think it probably deserves a 4.
4, moving it up to a 4 after a day of thinking. Dude, look at you, man. Why 4? Why did it get bumped up? What happened?
Well, it's my I've said that Han Solo is actually my favorite Star Wars character, and the more I thought, this movie was very much Han Solo. Like, everything about it, like, nothing betrays the character. I mean, nothing happens that I think, no, Han Solo wouldn't do that. Or that's not how Han Solo would react to that. Like, everything, I mean, it just works. Yeah, rock on. All right, I'm right there with Brooks. I'm going to say 4. And yesterday, we were talking after we watched the movie. We both said, we're going to give it 3.5. Yeah. 3.5, 3.5. But all day long, I was thinking about it, and I was just like, no, it's a 4. I love this movie so much. It's solely on the performances. Seriously, like John said, it's not the greatest Star Wars film. No, not at all. But it's a very good movie, and it's a very fun heist movie with more than one heist. Oh, yeah. And all the heists have a payoff. It all works. There's nothing tricksy about it. It's a good, fun action movie with great characterization, with great performances, with good dialogue, great pacing, huge action, and a subtext to it that is about oppression and colonization and war. And I just think it's such a great movie because of that. I want to see more. So 4, 4, 3.5 for an average of 3.896444321. To 4. 3.75. Anyway, thank you guys so much for checking out. If you round it up. If you round it down. Not if you round down. I love that bit, right? Like, I just did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Not if you round down. Also, Aaron Reich had to learn the actual Wookiee dialogue for that film. He actually learned that, and like apparently it's real. I don't know if they've actually made the Wookiee language real like they did Klingon, but us nerds will do anything if we put our minds to it. So thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Please do let us know below, what did you think of Solo, a Star Wars story, and how excited are you for more of these movies, including the Boba Fett one, and what would you rank it out of 5 possible you digs? 4, 4, 3.5. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcast blogs and a whole lot more. Our podcast, John. Me and John do this podcast pretty much every 2 to 3 weeks about pop culture. We always do top 5 favorite movies of any specific genre by a creator. We do comic book podcasts, all kinds of crazy stuff, popculturephilosophers.com, and right here on YouTube. And don't forget, we're on patreon.com/PCP, where you can help support this channel and continue on the legacy of PCP videos. We also have a Facebook group, PCP Army. Oh my God, plug. Thanks for joining the PCP Army. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. This is John Hammertime Holshoe. This is Brooks. You dig? Yeah, bring it in. Crush your hand. No, I'm fine. We just want to make sure everybody's here. Yeah, we're all here, right? You guys ready? We become rich and famous, so we have to. See, I was about to start. Blank out any logos. Any logos. I forgot what it's like doing videos with you. Okay. It's fun. We're gonna be controversy. Hot takes ahead. The John controversy. John Traverse.
All right, dude. I was about to go again. What the fuck is up?
Well, go, man.
Look at the camera and smile.